YouTube. Okay. It's been a couple of days, isn't it, I think? Anyway, let's see who comes on to join me here soon. What do I want to talk about today? What will we talk about? We'll talk about relationships, I think. Right, because I posted a video about relationships two or three days ago, where I talk about the finding new relationships. I don't know, isn't easy. Or finding new relationships or forming new relationships is hard, right? So that was the subject matter of the long form video that I posted, I think two days ago. Because I've been dealing with, not that I've been dealing with relationship issues at all. I just was contacted by my ex-girlfriend or wife, shall I say, in Bali. It was a religious marriage, so not a civil marriage, so it wasn't really recognized anywhere except for Indonesia, right? Yeah, so I was contacted by her again, asking me to meet her in Malaysia, to get back together again, which was quite surprising considering that she was, I don't know, we split up and got, well, whatever. And never had any contact again, even though, I did nothing wrong. Quite the contrary, I was very nice to her and helped her and gave her a lot of money and so on and so forth, and helped the family too. Paid for the mother's stroke problems, which she had, and medication and hospital time and all the rest of it, and also paid for the family to survive for quite a few months, actually. And yeah, I didn't get any love back for that. Why is that? Because I left the relationship because I found out later on that she was crazy. Yeah, she was crazy. That's right. Because why? Well, mental health instabilities is the reason. Later on, I found out that she had attacked her previous boyfriend because she found out that he was sleeping with another woman while they were together, and the woman texted her, calling her F, whatever, nasty words and whatnot. Hello, Ruthie Acosta. Hi there. Hello, thanks for joining. And so she went for him, and she went crazy, and the police arrested her. They took her to the hospital. They sedated her, and they actually put her into a coma, an artificial coma for 6 weeks, I believe, which I did not know about until after I met her, and after I committed to, and after she turned against me with her mental health problems, because the family, for some reason, didn't think it was important to tell me this, because I think they thought, oh, well, let's just not tell him, and let's just lead him down the garden path, and then that way he can find out on his own, and maybe nothing will happen. Maybe she'll be normal with this guy. But it didn't work out that way. No, because instead, a bit of white wine Saturday night, right? So instead, after 2 to 3 months of living with me, back in 2019 and 2020, to be precise, in March, she flipped her lid with me. Well, she'd been flipping her lid ever since January, to be honest, after 2-3 weeks of getting married by Muslim law. And then things went sideways and south quite badly and quickly, because I realized then that she kept stonewalling me and would get depressed at night, and whenever we'd come back from somewhere, she would change her mood and become moody and quite nasty, actually. She just refused to talk to me completely. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? What did I do? We had a good time outside. We were having a nice, like for example, on a Saturday afternoon, we'd go to the beach and had a nice lunch and some drinks, and then go home, get back home about 7:30 or 8, and then boom, down, no talking. So that's bipolar disease, by the way. 1 minute great, and then boom, down, cannot talk. And then of course the stonewalling happens, and that's not very pleasant either, right? Stonewalling is one of the worst things to do to somebody else, because it's really, really bad for the other person's mental health, because you don't know what's going on or why. You just know that the person is unhappy and they're not talking to you, but you also know that you have done nothing wrong and you have done nothing to deserve this kind of treatment. But regardless of that, the person who's doing it to you can't control themselves and do not stop, because they just have mental health issues, right? That's the problem. Mental health issues. And when you have those issues, there's nothing the other person can do about it except for wait. And then, true to form, every morning the next day, she would be okay again, as if nothing had happened. Then I would be like, well, hang on a minute, darling. We've got to talk about what happened last night. She's like, what do you mean? What happened? I don't want to talk about it. That's the other thing. So then you could not even talk about the actions that she took the night before and get to the bottom of them, because she would refuse to talk about them. Because denial is also part of bipolar disorder, right? So that was the big problem too. Whenever these things happened, you couldn't sort them out. We did go to therapy, actually. Well, we tried, the continuum. We tried. I actually went to a lawyer, my friend's lawyer, to make a deal with her to help her, because I was leaving her. And then I said, look, if you want to stay with me, I will try one more time if you go to therapy. And you have to sign an agreement with me to do that. Meaning you have to go and see this doctor, which the lawyer recommended, because he also had problems, his assistant or something before, or his girlfriend or wife, whatever. And he said he was very good. She signed the agreement, said that she would go to the therapy for this bipolar disease or disorder, but she didn't. So yeah, that's the problem. She said she would do it, but then she didn't. And I could not force her to, you see? So it wasn't me who had the problem. I would have gone to therapy too. I think I agreed to do the same. Yeah, I said I would go to therapy too, because it's best to do it together, right? But it didn't happen because she changed her mind, and I couldn't force her. So yeah. So that was it, and then things just got worse and worse, and more and more difficult, more depressed, and until the family came around one night. Well, we got back from the beach in Sanur, Bali. Went back to our house. This is during COVID time, by the way. So March or April 2020, I think, or May. I'm not quite sure. One of those 3 months. And then shit started hitting the fan. She was texting viciously, not talking to me, but she was texting her brother. So I looked at the phone. I said, hey, can you stop texting your brother, please? We need to talk about this. We need to be together. So she wouldn't stop. Then I grabbed the phone off her and I texted myself to the brother, listen, my friend, leave us alone. This is our relationship, not yours. You have to leave us alone. Let us sort our things out alone, right? And then I got a message back saying, F you, motherfucker. I'm going to come over there now and KILLU. Okay? I'm like, what? What is going on? This is around 8:39 p.m. at this time. I'm like, what the F is going on? So I said to my then dearest, I said, look, is this serious or is this a joke? Because this isn't funny. And she said, I don't know. I don't think he's going to come. But then, sure enough, some 30 minutes later, I was standing outside with her, and I heard the sound of motorbikes arriving, because they didn't live very far away, just maybe, 10, 15, 20-minute drive. So there you go. At that point, I'm like, okay, this is not good, because this guy, I know him, he was very, very volatile and very aggressive. Very aggressive, and he belonged to a gang I then also had found out already at this time in Bali, and I thought, shit, this is not good. So unless you want to have a big fight, and we were living in the cul-de-sac at the end of the road, right, and there was nobody there in the neighborhood because it was COVID time. It's just me and her in this cul-de-sac, so there was nowhere to go, and there were no neighbors to ask for help or call the police from. I didn't even have the police number. So yeah, then I thought, okay, this is not good. So I said, look, you're going to stay outside and deal with this, and I'm going to go inside for safety. Okay, because it's your family. I don't want to deal with your brother going crazy and trying to fight me. I just don't want to deal with that. So I went inside, closed the door, big strong door, very heavy door, and there was a cat flap. Okay, so then they arrived and they started shouting and screaming, the brother and the father, that is, including the mother. She was there too. The mother, who I had personally paid for her treatment in the hospital and afterwards for her stroke, right? And then, later on, she stroked out and died because they refused to give me the brother and the father refused to let me bring the medication that I had bought and paid for. So she died of a massive stroke. Anyway, so the brother then proceeded they brought rocks with them from their part of town because there were no rocks around my building, none at all. It was all paved and flat and there was nothing there. Clean, modern neighborhood. But they brought rocks with them in the motorbike. So with intent to kill me, okay? That's what he said. Then I was watching and filming everything on Facebook Live at the time, okay? Filmed the whole thing where he repeatedly said, you die, Rob, you die, I kill you, you die tomorrow, you die tomorrow. Yep, and that's what happened. And then, well, it didn't happen, that's what he said. I filmed the whole thing, was on live, and it got something like 50, 60,000 views overnight. It went viral all over Indonesia and more, and yeah. Many people saw it. I had lots and lots of great comments, people trying to help me, people saying, hey man, come here, we'll help you, come over here, we'll protect you, locals and so on. And I also had a lot of nasty comments from locals saying, hey man, we're going to get you, we're going to F you, and so on and so forth. So it was a mixed bag of emotions from various different people, which I was quite surprised about, because at the end of the day, you could see in the video very, very clearly that I didn't do anything. I was just sitting there in my house trying to protect myself by locking the door and filming the scene outside so I had evidence, okay? And that was all I did. And then, anyway, this is Indonesia for you. So it went viral. They weren't very happy about that, of course, because they saw it themselves, and they threatened me again and again. And then the next day I go to the police station at about 1 p.m. because I had to sleep in because I didn't sleep until 4 in the morning, so I was so stressed out. So I get to the police station and because I wanted to report the crime. The crime with the video, supporting evidence showing the police that I've been attacked and someone tried to kill me or threatened to kill me. And threw rocks in the door. And photos of the lock was almost broken and the door was cracked and so on. And the police said, well, is your wife's name X? And I said, well, yeah, how do you know? Oh, she was here already. She reported you. I said, what? For what? For what did she report me? Oh, for domestic violence. I'm like, what? Are you joking? No, that's what she reported you for. So I went straight to a lawyer in Jimbaran Valley, and I said, look, this is the situation. This woman specialized in legal matters between couples, foreign couples, and local foreigners and locals. And then she told me right away and then she was working with the police too. I don't worry, we'll sort this out. And I'm like, I hope so, because I didn't do anything wrong. And of course, there is no evidence of me ever touching her or hurting her or hitting her. It's just absolute bollocks, right? So that is the bottom line truth, and nothing has changed. Anyway, long story short, the police soon dropped that case or that report, and because there was no evidence and nothing ever happened. Okay, but then it went on. Although we kind of got back together, believe it or not, after a month or so of back and forth. So we did that, and then that went okay for a couple of weeks, but didn't last very long either. And then, she got involved in. Oh no, actually, it was maybe 2 or 3 months later. In fact, we got together back in, I think, September that year. It's August, I think, maybe, and then August, September, October. Yeah, then I started to invest in a company in Bali called Beach Garden, a restaurant in Canggu, where I became part shareholder, 25% shareholder, for which I spent $60,000. Fuck me, it was a crazy amount of money at the time in COVID, and we stupidly opened the restaurant on the 16th of December 2020, thinking that COVID would be over come January, which of course, as we all know now, it wasn't. So yes, she was part of the team. I invited her to be in the management. I was the managing director, the operational director, and of course the managing shareholder. And my partner, who was the main shareholder, was basically silent until he wasn't. He started piping up and not being so pleasant once the money was in his bank account. And after that, the problem was that she then started to become jealous because I was spending a lot of time in the restaurant because we were renovating it, put a ton of money into the renovation. I was there like 14 hours a day minimum, if not longer, from 8 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, and sometimes more. And she flipped out on me again. And then one night, she just didn't come back, and I didn't know where she was. And eventually, I went to sleep after I'd called her. She wouldn't answer. And then I got a message at I think 2 or 3 in the morning from a friend of hers, which I saw, and she said, "Hey, man, your girl is in the office of the restaurant, and she's cut herself." I'm like, "What?" So she sent me two photographs, one with a blade on the table, a shave razor blade, and one with her arm, her wrist, where she's tried to slit her wrist. The wrong way, by the way. So it was obviously a cry for help and just, something to get my attention with. But I, of course, then immediately knew where she was. So I rushed over to the office by the restaurant, picked her up, took her back home on the motorbike, and then took her to the hospital the next day. The Sangla Hospital in Denpasar, which is, well, it has a big mental institution there. I checked in, and then the doctor said to me, "Oh, X name, I can't mention her name here. You're back. How are you?" I said, "What? You know her?" She said, "Yeah, she was here 1.5 years ago. Didn't she tell you?" I'm like, No, she didn't tell me anything." "Oh." And I sat her down. Of course, at this point, she was completely all over the place, crying and shaking. And the doctor put her tranquilized her in the bed. And then she told me the story that this had happened 1.5 years ago, when she spent 6 weeks in a coma in another hospital. And then she was transferred to this hospital for recuperation, right? Imagine that. And nobody told me. So she spent 5 days there, recuperating and regenerating her mental health under observation and medication before she was allowed to leave. I was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." And I didn't know anything until then. Yeah, and that was it. And then after that, well, I tried my best to keep things going. But of course, it just got worse because she was just so unstable and uncontrollable, basically, and just got worse and worse and worse. And then at the end, it just, I filed for divorce, and that was that. And then that was that, done, over and out, and that was it. And I spent another couple of years in Bali trying to do my thing during the COVID time, and I finally left and went to Cambodia, and that was that, and I was out. So that's the story of the relationship situation there I had. And anyway, that's why I'm just saying that forming new relationships in this day and age is very, very difficult, because it requires a lot of effort and time, and you just don't know where you stand with many, many people these days, because they just lie about their lives. They lie on social media, they lie all over the place, they lie to your face, they lie about everything if you end up with one of those people. Anyway, all good. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me and on the live. And please remember to share the video and ask your friends and family to subscribe to me, because there's lots and lots of content coming. Oh yes, I'm going to Colombia next week. I'll be spending 8, 9, 10 weeks in Colombia and Panama and potentially Costa Rica too. That's it. Okay, so there's going to be a great amount of content coming up from those countries. All right, guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.